at least the lying's stopping. At least the lying is over, I guess. At least the lying is over. There's no more trying to pretend that that Caitlin Clark could come back at any given time. That's done. We're not going to see any more talk of Caitlin Clark coming back. We're not going to talk of any more practice. We're not going to hear any more talk of that, because at the end of the day, the Indiana Fever are in a bit of a bad have done a really bad job of this. They've done a really, really bad job of talking about this. They've done a really bad job of hiding these injuries. Like, even the Chloe Bibby thing for me was so much worse, because the Chloe Bibby one, clearly it was a setback. Clearly it was a huge setback. And like, all the Indiana Fever had to do. All the Indiana Fever had to do. Like, all they had to do was say with Chloe Bibby that she was making progress, but due to the travel, there has been a setback and her knee's been swelling up. So we need to see how she gets on over the next few days before letting her back out on the court. That's all they had to do. And not, there's no setback and 4 days later she's done for the season. Like, it's at the stage now where we don't need to hear any more lies. We don't need to hear any more lies. We don't need to hear the organization trying to stall on this. We don't need to. Eventually, I don't know when it'll be, but eventually someone will be playing the actual story. Someone just said the CC effect's been fading all year and attendance and views are rising. You do realize that the only reason attendance and views are rising is one. The reason views are rising is because the Indiana Fever have more games on national TV and there are more games on like big national TV stations. That's the biggest reason why views are rising. And two, the reason why attendance is up is because there's an extra team. There's an extra team in the Valks that sell out every home game. They don't sell out away games. And in the Fever, what the Fever do really well is a lot of teams move. A lot of teams move games for the Fever. A lot of teams move games because the Fever are coming to town to bigger arenas, or if you're the Minnesota Lynx, opening the upper of the arena. So yes, they're prepared for that this year. Last year, they weren't prepared for that. This year, they were prepared for that. So if you add in all those games that are moved, let's just say it's 7 games, all of these arenas more than doubled their attendance from their normal arena to the new arena, or quadrupled in the Atlanta Dreams case. So you can add 15 games to the schedule from just away games being moved from the Indiana Fever. So yes, the CC effect is absolutely not dying, because more people show up to see Caitlin Clark sit on the end of the bench than show up to watch other teams play basketball. And that's scary. Not except for the Valkyries and the Liberty. Let's not pretend that the Valkyries and the Liberty don't have real fans. They do. The Atlanta Dream don't have real fans. The Dallas Wings don't have real fans. Paige Bueckers doesn't have real fans. The Sky, in fairness, the Sky have some fans. The problem is that the specific Angel Reese fans don't go to games. Like, the Chicago Sky fans at games are Sky fans. The Angel Reese fans don't go to games. The Aces have fans, but not that many fans in Vegas, if you get me. Like, most of the Aces fans are AJ Wilson fans, South Carolina. But at least now we know what is happening. We know what's happening. We know that, Caitlin's not going to come back. And it's going to be a really interesting one to see. It's going to be a really interesting one to see what's going on with what's going to happen viewership wise. I still think the WNBA is in a better spot this year than it was in last year. I still don't know if if it ends up being the like top tier or it breaks records on last year. I think it's going to be is the most view. They're going to just put this whole thing being like and compare all the viewership numbers to 2023, like what they're doing. And a lot of people are saying a lot of tickets purchased before Caitlin Clark went out on Fever games, people just showed up to them anyway. And I think if it wasn't for Caitlin Clark, people wouldn't have showed up. But I still think that Caitlin is still is still by a mile the biggest draw in this league, even when she's not playing. But yeah, it's a really it's an interesting situation all around. And I think it's not that the Caitlin Clark hype has gone down, but I think the optimism around Caitlin Clark has turned into complete pessimism. I think there is a level of pessimism, and I think that level of pessimism has not been caused by Caitlin's injury. I think the level of pessimism has been caused by the way the Indiana Fever have communicated this injury. Like, I think this is genuinely one of those things. If Caitlin was done for the year, we would be a lot more optimistic about coming in next year, Caitlin getting back, seeing what Caitlin's going to do. But there's now a thing of pessimism because not only that, there is now a resentment, rightfully so, a resentment from fans towards the franchise. Without Kate, I understand Caitlin Clark is the best orchestrator of the super high octane offense, but everyone said you need to find another point guard to run an offense like that, and the Fever haven't. The Fever have actually found the worst possible point guards in Sydney Colson. Odyssey Sims can't play like that. Even Ari McDonald runs fast, but she doesn't play necessarily fast. And Ari McDonald, they accidentally got her. The Fever did a horrible job of putting a team together that could be fun to watch when Caitlin Clark's out. They did a horrible job of it. But yeah, I think the level of pessimism is not there due to the injury. A lot of people kind of knew it was going to happen. But I think there's a level of pessimism there because through this injury, there is now a resentment from fans towards the franchise. Through this injury, we're now seeing the phenomenon in the media of next up mentality. And thank you for the $2, Matt. We're now seeing some of the stuff in the media trying to diminish Caitlin Clark because of this injury play season. We're seeing all this stuff, and there is a level of pessimism towards the entire situation that wouldn't have been there had she just been ruled out for the season 2 months ago at All-Star break. And we don't know if Caitlin Clark's complicit in the lies or not. She could well be, she might not be. We absolutely have no idea. But at the end of the day, it's just a weird situation.